share my screen. Good morning. Good morning. Are we live on Facebook? So, good morning, everybody. It is a good morning. It is a good morning. It is. Truly, it is. Good morning, Paula. Happy Saturday to you and to everybody. Thank you so much, Paula. I'm excited. I am. There's just been a lot of things going on, and the learning lessons, every one of them has been truly, beneficial. Just excited about lots of things that, are going on. So, yeah, as Altavi says, that part. Good morning. Good morning, Elder Karma. Great morning. It is. So I'm just waiting to see. And we are live. Good morning. How is everybody doing? And welcome to the World Voice League. Hello, accountability call. So how's everybody doing on today? So I wanted to go over with you. I thought it would be interesting just to go through some of the processes, not all, some of the processes of what it is that I do. And so for those of you who do not know me, my name is Dorothea Robinson, and I'm an exit strategist. Oh my goodness, what is that? What is an exit strategist? Well, let's go over some things. I assist women who are in intimate partner abusive relationships. Yeah, that's a lot. I assist them in getting to safety and doing it safely. There's a lot that goes into that. There's heartache, there's pain, physical pain, abusive pain. There is financial abuse, sexual abuse, cyber stalking that has been added. There are many categories to domestic violence. There's also a term I want you to get used to is intimate partner abuse. Well, what is that? Intimate, meaning you're having relations, as the old folks say. You're having sex. You're intimate. Partner, two people, team, who agree to be together in the right sense. So you have two people having sex, intimate partner. Two people agreeing to be together. Two people together. Team. Then you add abuse. So that means two people who are intimate and there's abuse in that relationship. So one of those partners have decided that the abuse should be within that term. Somebody decided, I'm going to take this to a whole nother level. There are signs, yes, there are many signs, there are red flags, there are all sorts of things. But if you're already broken, if you're already having issues with yourself and low self-esteem and all of that stuff, when you get into a relationship, it's hard to get out of. women and men, because men are abused as well, often have, lower self-esteem. I got myself into this relationship. Oh my goodness, I can't get out. I might as well say there's a lot of things that go on in the head and the mind of an abused victim. And they decide, I'm here, I might as well stay here. We have kids together. I'm not going to break up a happy home. This is where I'm supposed to be. I got married, in the church. And so therefore, if I divorce, it will be a sin. And all kinds of things go on in a victim's head. So where do I fit in? When women reach out to me, I listen. I hear the story. I understand because I was abused for 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. I understand exactly where it is that they've been through and what they're going through. And there is a level of, trust that goes on. So I go in with a blank slate. I go in with, I'm going to listen. I go in with, this is a blank space where we begin to formulate a plan. But there's some things that have to happen first. There's some things that go on that have to happen first. I need them to understand, and they need to understand who I am. There's some things that have to happen in regard to trust. There's some things that I have to allow them to know that I understand your PTSD. I understand the rage, the nightmare. I understand the trauma that you've been through. I understand the shock. There's a whole lot that goes into this. What I do is make sure that they understand that what they deliver unto me, they can rest within me and they can pour. So listening is so super important. And we go through the PTSD and all of the things surrounded by PTSD. It's a real thing, y'all. So some of the complaints are, you have chronic pain on top of the pain they're already getting by their abuser or from their abuser. Fatigue is a symptom, stomach aches, respiratory problems, headaches, muscle cramps, lower back pains. They're having all type of physical, symptoms due to their PTSD. So let me stop here. I want you to know this, that the community, the world at large, will have problems with the term PTSD as it relates to domestic violence and intimate partner abuse. Yeah. That's only for soldiers at war. That's only for those who have gone to war and are actually soldiers. You have no right to use the term PTSD. Now, I have two jarheads. You don't know what jarheads are? They're Marines. Yeah, I love my sons, but they're crazy. Just saying. But I had one son who went to Fallujah and risked his life. And he came back, and I'm so thankful that he did. But with that being said, he had a problem with me using the term PTSD. That was only rightfully reserved for soldiers at war. And I had to break it down to him. You are experiencing all of these symptoms here, the ones that that are on the screen, the ones that we've just listed. I had to tell him that women and men, victims of abuse, experience the very same thing coming out. The very exact same thing. Listen, they are going through war. They are going through war. So the signs include, the disassociation. Well, they've already been, isolated from their families. That's one thing that, victims of abuse, the abuser does. He isolates them. When you're breaking off from your friends, when you're breaking off from your family, and, there's nobody showing up to the house anymore, and they're not going out anymore. Oh, trust me, he or she has isolated you in such a way because the abuse has to, continue the way they want. So therefore, you will be isolated. The paralyzed nightmares, the hypervigilance, man, when the door closed, you're jumping. You hear a loud noise, you're jumping. You feel like you are on high alert all of the time. You have low self-esteem. In the relationship problems, you don't have any relationship. That's broken off. So you will have relationship problems. So, PTSD, here are some of the other symptoms that go along with that. Difficulty sleeping, can't concentrate, you're easily startled, irritability, the anger, the agitation, the panic. Again, you're on heightened alert constantly. Even while you're yet still a victim, all of these things still yet go on. You're peeking through doors as you come in. Oh my gosh, it's time for him to come home. And you hurry up and you got to get things done. You're always on heightened alert because you never know when the next attack is coming. So who is at risk? Anyone who has been victimized, those who have been to war, this applies too. But right now we're speaking about domestic violence and intimate partner abuse. So, domestic violence, those who have been through it, who are in it, rape or sexual assault, the physical assault, children who are neglected or sexually or physically or verbally abused, adults who are abused as children. These are the people who are at risk for PTSD. So I'm so nervous and I'm so jumpy. My body reacts when I don't want it to. I'm always anxious. I'm overwhelmed. These are some of the things that the victims say to me. And I understand this. The flashbacks of the abuse, they can't get over. So trust. You got to trust somebody. And I tell you, when you're a victim of abuse, you don't trust anybody. You don't. But there is that one who is tired of right where she is. She is so tired of right where she is that she slowly reaches her hand up. She slowly says, I need help. That's where I come in. That's where I come in. I am so very careful that I have to have a listening ear. I am so very careful of getting all of the information that I can possibly get. I need all of the details. I need to know if there's any valuables in the house. I need to know if you have diapers. I need to know if you have food in the cabinet that you can go ahead and stuff into a bag. I need every intimate detail. I need to know when he goes to work and when he sleeps. I need to know when he goes to the bathroom and how long he stays. I need to be that detailed in order for me to make the plans that I make. I need to know everything. I need to know about his family. I need to know about her family. I need to know everything. There's a level of trust that has to happen. They have to be able to know that they can leave all of that pain in my lap. They've got to be able to trust me enough with their information Their information, what they give me, is life. And I've got to be so very careful that I'm sensitive to their needs. Because right now, they don't even recognize what it is that they need. They've got to be able to say, throwing it all at you, and I've got to have you organize it. But before we even get to the part about organizing and the planning, trust. Believe in the integrity of others. They've got to believe in me. They've got to understand that, me, I have to trust this woman who calls herself the exit strategist. I've got to believe that she, the integrity of her. On a telesummit just on yesterday, to somebody speak about proof, social proof. There's proof that I had to give them to say, I've gotten these women out. This is the number of what it is that have been in my hand, and now they're to safety. I have to prove to this victim that I can do what it is that I say I can do. They have to believe in my intentions, that I'm just not talking off, off the side of my neck. I have to be able to stand to say I can do what it is that I need to do, and I can get it done. So they have to believe in my intentions and that my intentions are good. Because trust me, they're isolated. They don't have anybody else. It's just them. And they're sneaking. They're sneaking talking to me. So they've got to recoil and come back. They've got to recoil. It's like, a rocking boat. They've got to recoil and come back, because the amount of time that they have to talk to me, they got to hurry up and get it all in. They've got to hurry up and get all of that information to me, and then go back into into their cave. Knowing, that mistakes happen, trust. They've already made mistakes. And they have to understand that the mistake, the choice that they made happened. And so now it's time to just rest in somebody else, to trust them enough that they have integrity, and trust them enough to know that their intentions are good. And that's what I have to build that relationship with. Trust. You can trust me. So how and what do I do in order to gain their trust? I embrace their vulnerability. I understand where they are, and I help them to forgive right where they are. They can't forgive much. That's a process. But the beginning steps to begin to forgive themselves, forgive where they are, even in the minute sense, that process has to begin. People don't understand this, number 4. They don't think that this is a death. It is. Leaving and breaking any relationship, whether through divorce, whether it be through actual dying of, death, whether it be just a breakup of a regular friendship, you've got to, grieve that process, because you were once attached to somebody and now there's no attachment. That's a grieving process that needs to happen. It is the same with domestic violence and intimate partner abuse. The community at large will have you say, oh, you know what? You should be gone. Up. It's good that you're going up. Why are you still crying over this person? No. They've built a relationship, oftentimes family, oftentimes children. That is a grieving process. They're grieving. And so please understand that when a woman leaves a violent relationship, there is a grieving process that has to happen. You don't label yourself as the victim. Well, you've been a victim for so long, and you have, this labels. Your family's labeling you because you should be away from him. You shouldn't be there. You get your friends and family, who have been in your life and no longer in your life for real, and they're labeling you. Boy, they're already written you off. That's a relationship. She knew what she got into. She's staying there. That's on her. Bye, girl. And so they have their own labels. You have the labels of, him. He's labeling you dumb, stupid, ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're doing. You can't do anything without me. All of those labels that come. All of those labels have to fall off. I need you to know, as soon as you leave a domestic violent relationship, it does not happen. It does not fall off. It's a process. Think of an onion. All of those labels, all of those layers, rather, representing labels. I need you to think of the onion. So you could peel back the layers. But I need you to know, if you've ever peeled a label, if you ever peeled an onion, when you peel back the first layer, there's this thin, very thin filament, it looks like. You can see through it if you look through it. That's a layer. So even though she's gotten herself out of the relationship, when she gets to the other side, she still has things, labels, problems, PTSD, heartache. Not to say the physical, the broken bones and the bruises, and she still has so many layers attached to her. Her expectations are high because she thinks that as soon as she gets out or he gets out of that relationship, that everything is dropped, everything goes away, everything is all right. And it's not that way. You've just gotten out the relationship. There are things that you brought with you from that relationship that have to be dealt with. So considering the alternative, well, if I'm in this relationship, what is it going to be like? That's always a good question. Well, when I get out, can I get a job? When I get out, I want to, do this. When I get out, yeah, sis or bruh, all of that's good. And I want you to hold on to that. Don't let that go. Don't let your expectations of, the relationship that you want to have in the future. But you got to go through some things in order to get to that. And considering the future, that's exactly what they should do. So they've got to get to know themselves in the process of leaving. And I've got to get them to understand that this is a process. And when leaving, you've got to stop believing the lies that you've been told. That's, through self-care. There's a lot of things that go into self-care. Don't have time right now. But self-care for a victim of abuse is very intense. It should be. So, I get a lot of this. We're out now. We're to safety, and they're in maybe a shelter or maybe in a women's program, and I'm good. I'm so good. I don't need this. I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and go to the apartment, get a job, and those are all high expectations, and I want you to keep them. However, this is a checkpoint. So, do you go to therapy regularly? And these are some questions. Do you go to therapy, regularly? Are you eating healthy? Are you drinking correctly? Are you in a relationship with the father? Have you stopped the negative thoughts? Do you love you and always doing something for yourself? These questions here, I always ask them. So I have this slide for them. I need you to answer every question. And, oftentimes the answers are usually no. Usually they don't do any of that. but they have high expectations. So you can't get to that high expectation, that, that marker that you want to go to. You can't get there, not unless you do these things. So I asked them, these are some healing strategies. Do you have them? Are you overcoming the devastation of violence? You've got to overcome that. Remember the PTSD? Yeah, you've got to overcome that. You cannot just jump from violence into I'm good. No, it does not work like that, because there's usually anger, and then there's usually stress, and you don't realize and understand the power of prayer. Side note, let me say this. The only way to get out of a domestic violent relationship, intimate partner abusive relationship, is with prayer. However, you can throw your prayers up, but when an opportunity comes to get out, please don't shoot the messenger, because that may be the very outlet that the Father has sent you in order to get out. I can't tell you how many women and men who have been sent opportunities and no, I don't want, but then they throw up all of the prayers to get out. So me, planning. My clients tell me, oh, I hate Ms. B, I hate planning. I'm sorry, but planning is everything. And this is pivotal. Write it down. If you think about it, don't review it every day. And if it's not on paper, it's a thought, not a plan. Maybe, did you hear that? If it's not on paper, it's not on plan. And for me, getting them out, everything has to be on paper. Everything is on paper. So I go over, what might I do? What is the healing process to become sound-minded and whole again? You've got to go and ask. It's okay. It's okay to ask for what you need. There's going to be somebody there who's going to answer your question. If you want to get out, you can. It starts with you. If you want to be able to just get out and say, I need to get out of this relationship. I really do. I can't. I need help. That's where the trust comes in. Trust comes in, and you've got to understand that the community at large has already labeled the victim. They say, I'm already being victimized in my home. I'm already being called names and labeled in my home. Why am I going to get out? Why am I going to get out and be labeled all over again, called names all over again, be ostracized all over again? That's why she stays. Trust who she going to trust. Who are they going to trust? They should trust community, but they don't. We should be able to say, I love you. They should be able to learn to love themselves. They should be able to gain another relationship at some point in their lives that they will be accepted and loved. They should be able to know that who they are, they should be able to accept it, even in the pain of what it is that they've been through, to say, this is who I am. That's part of my life, but this is who I am. Are we in community? Are we able to give them that space? Are we able to allow them to, own their stories so that they can love themselves, so that they can free somebody else? That's how I got here. Through my story, was I able to teach, and was I able to get people out of their intimate partner abuse? I was able to do what it is that I'm doing, to go ahead and get, more education and, get certifications and do the things that I needed to do, because I needed to reach her and I needed to get her out of her situation, because I knew what I went through. And I didn't want another woman to have to go through abuse. So I developed writing classes, because the story belongs to them. I wrote my story. I wanted somebody else to get free writing their stories. You live through it, write about it. And I said to my class, even if you don't share it, even if you do not share this with someone, the fact that you wrote it, it's yours. But yeah, I get them to, you need to get this published. Why? Because it is legacy. Your children will understand why you did what you did. I have grown children. They read my book, and now they understand why I stayed as long as I stayed, and they understood why I left. They understood all of that process. Even though that they were there, they were in it, they will understand a little bit more about mom. And so I even encourage them because they went through the abuse as well. Write your own story. There are things that they tell me and share with me that I never knew. I have one son who wrote the whole story of his life, and there are things in it that I never knew because it was from his perspective. So writing your story is just the beginning of the new chapter of their life. I teach them that. So that's me, the exit strategist. I, have developed because of the need of, once a woman has gotten out, there had to be a place where they felt comfortable, where they trust me, where they learn about themselves, where they grow stronger. And from that, I moved to, okay, so now you have a vision, you have a dream, you have a goal. And so from that, move to the next phase, writing your story. From that phase, now you have a book. So let's go talk about it. I have speaking programs where they learn how to speak, how to get in, those little, I guess, speaking arenas where they feel comfortable and they grow in their speaking. Then I have business from, life after domestic violence. The portion about there is life after domestic violence. You do not have to just live day by day by day by day existing. There's more to life. You can have a life and live it the way you are called to live it, just not existing, not vegetating. And so the reason why that all came about was because I got from the Father this: there is prosperity in your pain. Didn't understand what that meant. Now I do. What I've been through, I'm using as a vehicle to assist and solve a problem. But in doing that, I'm also providing coaching programs. I'm providing safe havens. I'm collaborating. There are things that I'm doing in business that I am prospering from, as well as getting a victim out of the domestic violence partnership, getting them to safety. Now that I'll never charge for, never charge for. And I had this problem with, now this is the business side, and in the beginning, I had a big problem about charging y'all. Have a coach who's like, we've had some words. But when I began to understand that my time and energy equals money, that I have the right to charge for what it is that I know, what I can teach, did things begin to happen, the prosperity part. But why are we in business? To solve somebody's problem. But let's be truthful, let's be honest. We're here to profit, correct? So that's the end, and I'm just so super glad to have been able to share a little bit about some of the process. I'm so thankful to be able to share some of the thoughts, the things that go on behind the scenes about what it is that I do to where I am now. And again, my name is Dorothea Robinson. I'm an exit strategist. I'm here because I've been through abuse. I see it so much lately in the news. see it so much that it's disheartening, excuse me. And I need you to understand that every time I hear a woman's story or I see something on the news, that I go through my own flashbacks. And so there's some tools and things that I, currently do now and use now in order for me to get out of that space of the PTSD and the effects of it. I have to get through that thing because the stories that are out there has me going back into my own space. I want to be able to share with women that you do not have to be stuck where you are. You don't. That it is not the call on your life to be in an abusive relationship. It is not. It is not sent by God. And because you're married in an abusive relationship, and I'm going to end on this, and I stand on this. For those of you who believe in the scriptures, there is not one scripture that says that abusing your wife is okay. If it is, show it to me, and I will stop doing what it is that I do. Any scripture. I stand on knowing that I have to share love and give love, and that is by letting people know that you can trust me, that my intentions are good, that I have great integrity. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. This is not for everybody. Everybody can't do what I do. And I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm just saying that this place where I am is weighted, very weighted. But if you want to assist and help another person out of a intimate partner abusive relationship, it's possible. You can. I have tip sheets that you can access to see whether or not you are a good support person. You can go to bit.ly/1 more free. And there you can find the tip sheet to see if you are a good support person. Everybody can't do this. No matter how much you want to get and drag her or him out of their situation, everyone can't do it. It is a dangerous situation. So I say to you, check out the tip sheet first. So thank you so much for your time. I am super honored to be able to have this place and space right now. It's just amazing to have been able to just share just a little bit about what it is that I do. So thank you again, Altavis. This is great. I'm just